first chapter we discussed today the electromagnetic theory, under which we shall discuss today the Maxwell's equations. The results of the extensive experiments on electricity and magnetism during 18th century could be explained successfully by a series of equations. Now, in modern notation, these equations contains the divergence and curls of the field equations or the electric and magnetic fields. Now, the series of equations means it is not that there is a large number of equations. There are only 4 equations which can explain all the phenomena of the electromagnetism, and these 4 equations together called the Maxwell's equation. Now, what are those equations? Now, the first equation is the Gauss's law in electrostatics. Epsilon 0 E dot ds is a closed surface integral that is equal to Q, or one can write surface integral D dot ds is equal to Q. D is the electric displacement vector, which we write D is equal to epsilon 0 E. Okay, this is the Gauss's law in electrostatics. Now, the second one is the Gauss's law in magnetostatics. Closed surface integral B dot ds is equal to 0. The right hand side is 0, which means the no existence of magnetic monopole. So, Gauss's law or Coulomb's law in electrostatics, Gauss's law or the Biot-Savart's law in magnetostatics. The third equation, these two are from the statical part. The third one is from dynamical part, that is the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. A closed line integral E dot dl is equal to minus del phi b del t. What is phi b? That is the magnetic flux B into A, suppose the area. B is the lines of magnetic lines of force per unit area multiplied the total area, the total magnetic flux. Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, the closed line integral. Now, here the electric field, as we know that the electric field produced by a static charge distribution is conservative, and in that case, if we take the work done over a closed path, then it should be 0. But here in this case, E dot dl is non-zero. It is the electromotive force induced EMF. That's why the electric field produced by a changing magnetic field is not at all a conservative force field. So here the electric field which is produced by this changing magnetic field is not conservative. Now, the fourth equation, that is the Ampere's law, B dot dl, closed line integral, that is equal to mu 0 I. I is the steady current. Now, steady current flowing through a wire, then one can find the magnetic induction at a distance R by considering a closed path around it. So, this is the Ampere's law. Now, these 4 equations together, 1, 2, 3, 4, they are called the Maxwell's equation, and these 4 equations can explain all the phenomena of the electromagnetism. Now, Maxwell was able to find the speed of the electromagnetic wave, as well as he was able to establish the wave character of the electromagnetic radiation by the application of these 4 equations. Now, that's why they are together called the Maxwell's equations. Now, out of these 4 equations, this equation is not consistent with the time varying field. You see here no time variation is here. I is the steady current, that is DC current, not AC current. Now see here in third equation, you see here a changing magnetic field can produce an electric field, and electricity and magnetism are the same type of laws are there in electricity and magnetism. So they are the first unification of the theory. Now therefore, if a changing magnetic field can produce an electric field, then why not a changing electric field can produce a magnetic field? Then here some term is missing, and Maxwell added that term which is called the displacement current. And this displacement current, as we know, that it retains the continuity of the AC current through the capacitor gap, which DC cannot. DC current cannot pass through the capacitor gap, but AC current can pass through the capacitor gap, because in the AC current the time is varying, current is varying with time. So the electric field is changing with time. So as the nature loves symmetry, as the changing magnetic field can produce an electric field, so a changing electric field can produce a magnetic field, which term is missing here. Now these are called the integral forms of the Maxwell's equations. Although the proper form is not here, we have to modify this one. This Ampere's law needs modification, and we shall see later on what is the modification, what is the modified term. Now first, our aim is to convert this integral form to its equivalent differential form, because differentiation is more easier to handle than the integration. Differential equation is more easier to handle than the integral equations. Then for practical applications, the differential forms are used. That's why we first convert these integral forms of the Maxwell's equation into its equivalent differential form. Okay. Now to convert these integral forms of the Maxwell's equation into its differential form, we have to use two theorem. First is Gauss's divergence theorem. Gauss's divergence theorem. What does it tell? The Gauss's divergence theorem relates a surface integral, closed surface integral, to a volume integral. Now the statement of the Gauss's theorem is that the volume integral of the divergence of a vector is equal to the closed surface integral of that vector, provided the surface is closed. Is closed. This is the statement. Now mathematically it is written as we write the volume integral of the divergence of a vector. Suppose A is any vector. The divergence of A and its volume integral, that is equal to the closed surface of integral of that vector, closed surface A dot ds. Now divergence of a vector is a scalar quantity, volume is a scalar quantity, so left hand side is a scalar. A is a vector, surface is a vector quantity, so dot product of this side is also scalar. Okay, so this is the Gauss's divergence theorem. Now another theorem is there called the Stokes theorem, which relates a closed line integral to a surface integral, provided in that case that surface is open, not a closed surface. Now therefore the second theorem, which we shall apply to convert the Maxwell's equation into its equivalent differential form, that is Stokes theorem. Stokes theorem. It states that the surface integral of the curve of a vector is equal to the closed line integral of that vector, provided here the surface is open. This is the statement of the Stokes theorem. Now suppose A is any vector, then the surface integral, now I am putting here a closed sign, this is open surface. Surface integral of the curve of a vector, either dot product or here is curve dot ds. Curve of a vector is a vector quantity, surface is a vector quantity, dot product scalar quantity. That is closed line integral, closed sign line integral of that vector A dot dl. So one is Gauss's divergence theorem, which relates surface to volume integral, and the Stokes theorem, which relates line integral to surface integral. Now by applying these two, we convert the integral form of the Maxwell's equation into its differential form. Now let us consider first the Gauss's law in electrostatics. First one, the Gauss's law, that is epsilon 0 E dot ds is equal to q. What is q? Q is the charge. It is a closed surface. So it must have some volume, and within that volume the charge is there. Now if the rho is the volume charge density, then this total charge may be written as volume integral of rho dv. Here rho is the charge per unit volume. Okay. Now one side is surface integral, closed surface integral, and other is volume integral. Now we apply here the Gauss's divergence theorem. We convert this closed surface integral into its volume integral, applying divergence theorem. If we apply divergence theorem in here, that is closed surface integral of E, that must be equal to the volume integral of divergence of E. So this side we write epsilon 0, this is volume integral of the divergence of this vector dv is equal to this side, same volume integral rho dv. The same volume integral is involved on both sides and they are equal. Therefore, the integrands must be equal. Here it is the integrand divergence of E and here it is rho. Therefore, the integrands must be equal. Therefore, if the integrands are equal, therefore here we write epsilon 0 into divergence of E is equal to this side is rho, or divergence of E is equal to rho by epsilon 0, or we know that epsilon 0 E is equal to D, therefore if one can write it is divergence of D, that is equal to rho, because D is equal to epsilon 0 into E. So this is the differential form of the Gauss's law. Either epsilon divergence of E equal to rho by epsilon 0, or you can write divergence of D is equal to rho. Similarly, from the second equation, say number 2, Gauss's law in magnetostatics or the Biot-Savart's law, there is B dot ds is equal to 0. Similarly, here also applying divergence theorem, we write it that volume integral of divergence of B dV is equal to 0. So this integral is 0, that means its integrand is 0. Therefore, one can write divergence of D equal to 0. This is the differential form of the Biot-Savart's law or Gauss's law in magnetostatics. Now the third one is the third age of electromagnetic induction. That means now we are coming to the dynamical cases where the time variation is there, not the static cases. Now the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction we consider. That is closed line integral E dot dl is equal to minus del phi b del t. What is phi b? Phi b is the magnetic flux over a surface. That one may write del t b dot ds. Okay. Now here the surface is not say closed, open surface, because you have a surface area. Suppose you are considering this one, magnetic flux is going like this. So the lower surface, upper surface is not a closed one, it's open surface. It is surface is extending from minus infinity to plus infinity. Now this is a line integral, and in this side is the surface integral. Now we use the Stokes theorem. Applying Stokes theorem. A closed line integral of E. That means it will be converted into a surface integral of the curl of this vector E. Curl of E dot ds. The line integral is equal to this one surface integral, equal to this surface integral minus del t b dot ds. Same surface integral is involved on both sides and they are equal. Therefore, the integrands must be equal. Therefore, we have what we write, that curl of E is equal to minus del B del T. This delta T you can take inside because this is the integration over the space and this is the integration over the time. So you can take it inside. So del B del T integrand is here. So this is curl of E is equal to minus del B del T. Is the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Differential form. Now the fourth equation is our Ampere's law. Now see what is the problem in the Ampere's law as stated by Maxwell. Now Ampere's law is written as closed line integral P dot dl, that is mu 0 r. I the current, steady current through a wire. You can write it mu 0 surface integral J dot ds. J is the current density. Current per unit cross sectional area, current density. Now that side is surface integral, the left hand side is a closed line integral. Again we apply the Stokes theorem. So left hand side we can write surface integral, open surface is curl of B dot ds, that is equal to mu 0 J dot ds. So again the same surface integral are involved on both sides and they are equal. Therefore, their integrands must be equal. From that we can write that this curl of B, this is the integrand in this side, that must be equal to mu 0 times J. Now this form Ampere's law, but this is faulty. Now if we take the, why it is faulty? Now if we take the divergence on both sides of this equation, taking divergence on both sides, therefore this is written as the divergence of the curl of a vector B, that is equal to mu 0 divergence of J. Now divergence of the curl of any vector is always equal to 0. Divergence of the curl of any vector is always equal to 0. Therefore this side is 0, that is you can write mu 0 divergence of J. Therefore divergence of J equal to 0. Divergence of a vector quantity is 0, that means it is a uniform flow. Divergence of velocity is 0, that means the, suppose a fluid is moving through a tank and it's with the velocity v, and in that case if we found the divergence of v equal to 0, that means the uniform motion is here and the fluid is called incompressible. With pressure you cannot change the density. As much flow liquid is entering in the tank, that much is going out. There is no sink here, no accumulation. No water is leaking here, no water is accumulating here. So there is no sink. Now here also divergence of J is equal to 0, that means there is no sink. consider a circuit the ammeter is here which is reading the current in the circuit. Suppose the I current is flowing through this resistance which is J, the current density. Now as soon as the current will flow through this, the joule sitting will be there, energy will be dissipated. This is the sink. I square R joule sitting will be there. So the current in the circuit will diminish unless the battery supply the constant amount of charge to maintain the constant current in the circuit. If the battery is not there, the current will no longer be constant in the circuit. So the current in the circuit remain constant at the expense of the charge of the battery. The charge is decreasing at a particular rate so that the current remains constant in the circuit. So as soon as the current is flowing through the circuit, there is a sink, joule sitting, but here it is not. So this equation is not consistent with the conservation of charge, which is called the equation of continuity. So it violates the equation of continuity, Ampere's law. That's why this equation needs modification. It does not mean the Ampere's law is wrong. It is not valid. It is valid for the steady current only, not for time varying field. For time varying field, the equation is faulty. It needs modification. So what is the equation of continuity? Now, suppose the current is flowing through a circuit. A wire is there whose cross sectional area is supposed to be unity. We consider a unit cross sectional area. I current is flowing through this. Now, what is current here? Current is the flow of charge per unit time through this cross sectional area. Suppose I have a stopwatch. Just I start here at time t is equal to 0. A charge was here, suppose say Q1. After 1 second, if this charge is flowing with a velocity v, then after 1 second this charge suppose say comes here, therefore this distance is v. Because the charge is moving with a velocity v. During this 1 second, all the charges will accumulate here within this volume. So what is the total charge here Q? That is equal to V into rho. Rho is the charge density here within this cylinder. Because its cross section is unity, so its volume is this multiplied by the charge density. So this is the Q. Now what is I? The current. I is minus dq dt or del q del t, right? Partial derivative in terms of the minus sign is, that means here the charge is decreasing in the opposite direction because charge is actually flowing in the opposite direction than that. So what is I? I is written as J dot ds. Here this volume is considered as a closed one. That's why we give here a closed sign. And that is equal to minus dq dt or del q del t you can write. What is this q? You can write it minus d dt into rho dv. Now, by applying the divergence theorem, this side we write J dot ds. It is divergence of J dot dV. Closed surface area of the vector equal to the volume integral of the divergence of that vector, that is equal to minus d dt of rho dV. So therefore, we can write same volume integral. So we can write divergence of J is equal to minus d rho dt. So divergence of J is not equal to 0. Otherwise, its conservation of charge will not be valid. If divergence of J should be equal to minus del dot del T, current remains constant. Minus sign means the charge density is decreasing in this rate. So this is the equation of continuity. So equation of continuity is that is divergence of J plus sometimes it is del rho del T or d rho dt, whatever it is equal to 0. This is the equation of continuity. Which denotes the conservation of charge. So equation of continuity means it defines the conservation of, in this case it is conservation of charge, but in case of energy that defines the conservation of energy. We shall see in case of when we discuss the Poynting theorem, that is the flow of energy in electromagnetic wave. Then, so this is the equation. It must be satisfied by every equation, by every system, but the Ampere's law does not follow it. Now, therefore, what should be the actual form of the Ampere's law, modified version of Ampere's law? The modified version of Ampere's law. Now, the Ampere's law now we write it differential form, that is the curl of B is equal to mu 0 J plus x. Now, taking divergence on both sides, we don't know what is this term. We put here another term should be required here, that is x. Now, divergence of the curl of this vector, that is equal to mu 0 divergence of J plus divergence of x. This is 0, this side, mu 0 divergence of J so divergence of J is equal to minus 1 by mu 0 that is divergence of x. What is divergence of J? From equation of continuity we write, from equation of continuity divergence of J is equal to minus del rho del T, that is equal to minus 1 by mu 0 divergence of x. Now, from the differential form of Gauss's law, Gauss's law. What we get, the divergence of E is equal to rho by epsilon 0. That means rho we can write, rho is equal to epsilon 0 into divergence of E. Substitute it here. So you get this sign, forget about the minus sign. You get del del T. Epsilon 0 is a constant quantity, you can take it out. Say, right, epsilon 0 divergence of E, that is equal to 1 by mu 0 divergence of x. So what is x? Then x is equal to, it is space operator and it is a time operator. You can interchange, you can take this del del T inside, no problem. What is del? Differential operator, del is equal to I del del x plus j del del y plus k del del z. I, j and k are the unit vector on the x, y, z direction, differentiation, partial derivatives. So the x will be equal to mu 0, you can take here, mu 0 epsilon 0 divergence del E del T. This is the value of x. So your Ampere's law takes the form, modified version of the Ampere's law. Modified version of Ampere's law. Curl of B is equal to mu 0 j plus this x. Mu 0 is taken common, so epsilon 0 del E del T. This is the differential form of the modified version of the Ampere's law. So its integral form will be written accordingly. Now we convert it. Initially we convert the integral form into differential form. Now we convert this differential form into integral form. Now if we want to convert this differential form of modified version of Ampere's law into its equivalent integral form, then what will be the integral form? Now to convert it into its integral form, what we do, we take the surface integral on both sides first. Taking surface integral on both sides. Curl of B dot ds. Open surface mu 0 j dot ds plus epsilon 0. Take del del T outside because it is the surface integral over the space E dot ds now according to Stokes' theorem we can write it closed line integral over B, it is B dot dl, left hand side, right hand side mu 0 j dot ds. What is j dot ds? That is I, conduction current in the circuit, I, total conduction current, plus epsilon 0. What is E dot ds? Is the electric field per unit cross sectional area. the lines of electric force per unit cross-sectional area. So this is the electric flux, total lines of electric field. So we can write epsilon 0 del del T of phi E. Phi E is equal to this integral E dot ds. So this is the integral form of the Maxwell's equation. Here, sorry, Ampere's law, or you can write mu 0 I plus I d. This ID is the displacement current, where ID is called the displacement current, where ID is epsilon 0 del phi E del T, displacement current. And which has the same unit of current, and numerically this ID is equal to I. When you consider a parallel plate capacitor, the conduction current here, because continuity in current is there, if it is an AC current, then here the continuity is retained by this ID, displacement current, and I and ID are equal. That's why the AC current is passing through the capacitor here due to its varying electric field. But the DC current, this term was not there, so it is blocked. So in this way, you can convert all the differential forms of the Maxwell's equation into its integral form. Therefore, if we make a gist, there is the Maxwell's equations. Here say integral forms. And here differential forms. Epsilon 0 E dot ds is equal to Q, or closed circuit integral D dot ds is equal to Q. Its equivalent form is divergence of E is equal to rho by epsilon 0, or divergence of T is equal to rho. The second one, B dot ds is equal to 0, divergence of B is equal to 0. Third one, Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, line integral E dot dl is equal to minus del phi b del t. Its equivalent form is curl of E is equal to minus del b del t. And the fourth one, B dot dl is equal to mu 0 I plus epsilon 0 del phi E del T. It's ID, displacement current. Its corresponding form is curl of B is equal to mu 0 J, conduction current, plus epsilon 0 del E is the complete discussion on the how to convert the integral form to its differential form or to differential form to its integral form of the Maxwell's equations. In the next class we shall discuss the application of the Maxwell's equation.